Hi, it's Annie Margarita Yang, and today I want to talk to you about having pride in your God-given talents, not playing small, and sharing your gifts with the world. So, my husband has been out of work since March 28 because he's a PhD student at Boston University, and he's part of the graduate school student union, and they went on strike. They are demanding to be paid $62,000 a year. Boston University countered with $42,000 a year as a salary. They're just asking for a lot of demands, and neither side is giving in. And negotiation so far hasn't been successful. So my husband wants to support the union, and he says, this is part of my beliefs. I think capitalism is greedy, So I want to stand with the union. I said, okay, yeah, you want to stand with the union, fine. But as part of the consequence of not earning money, I need you to bring in some money in other forms. I don't care what kind of work it is. And we talked about it, and he decided he wants to do translation work. So he speaks 4 languages. He speaks Indonesian, English, Japanese, and French. And translation work would be good for him because it's very flexible and he can do it at his own time, basically. And it pays pretty okay. But the problem is, he wasn't getting any interviews, and you know what? He's married to the author of the 5-Day Job Search, so there is no excuse for him to not land a job quickly. So I said, let me take a look at your resume. I helped him fix up his resume so that it's more targeted to Japanese translation roles. And but still, in the resume for Japanese translation, I did put that he speaks 4 languages. He speaks Indonesian, English, Japanese, and French. And one thing that you should know when I write in a resume for people is that I take employers for stupid. I literally take them as if they're stupid. And I feel like the resume is your way of communicating with the person who's reading it. And you need to communicate and treat that person. Think of that person as someone who's just dumb and never made it past 10th grade, okay? So when a job listing says we need somebody who has 5 years of experience in I need you to literally spell it out for the employer. I have, if you do, 7 years of experience in you know? Where can you put this? You can either put this in the skills section, how many years, or you could put it at the top where you put the objective/professional summary, that 2 to 3 lines at the top right under your contact information. For Hanjiro's particular scenario here, it's about his abilities in language, right? So what I did was at the top of the resume, I put, I think it was Indonesian 36 years because he's native. You know, he's 36 years old and Indonesian is his native language. English, I think he started when he was 10, so I put like 26 years. And then Japanese was in high school, so it was like 23 years or something like that. And then French. So he has a certificate in French from the Institute of Paris. He got it in 2013, and he studied abroad for a year during his college studies. So his level of French is intermediate. So for all of the 4 languages, right? For French, I put 11 years because the certificate's from 2013. He started learning French in 2013. So I think it's pretty accurate to say 11 years. And then I also put the levels, right? So I put like Indonesian native, English was fluent. He is fluent in English. Japanese fluent as well, and then the French I put intermediate, because just because you've been learning French for 11 years doesn't mean you're an expert, doesn't mean you're advanced or fluent yet. You could be learning on and off, or you could have like stopped for 2 years and then you pick it back up again. So I put intermediate. You know, I don't think there's an airplane flying by. Just hold on. Like, I don't think it's a lie to put it on the resume like this. I think it's a good thing. You're making it easy for the employer, because I don't think the employer is going to look at the bottom of his resume, see that he got the certificate in French in 2013 and go like, now it's 2024, 2024 minus 2013 equals 11 years. They're not going to do that kind of like mental math and gymnastics when they're looking at your resume. They only look at it for like 6 seconds, maybe almost 30 seconds. So that's why you literally have to spell it out for these people. How many years you've been doing something, and in his case, speaking the language, not necessarily translating the language professionally, but I personally believe that the moment you start learning a language, you can already start translating the simple stuff, like, hello, my name is Annie, right? Like, you can already start translating that simple stuff. So I think it's pretty accurate. My husband, well, before we get into this, right, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on how I wrote his resume. Do you think it's accurate? Do you think it's a fair representation? Do you think it's misleading? Do you think I was outright lying on his resume? Let me know. Let me know what you think. I want to hear your opinion, your side of the story, your thoughts. All right, let me share with you what my husband said. So my husband said he did not feel comfortable using this resume. First of all, other translators in the industry on their resume, they do not write their resume in this way. So first of all, this is a very unconventional way of writing the resume. That was his resistance point number one. I told him, listen, most people do not land a job in 5 days. You want to land a job in 5 days, okay? You got to be unconventional. You need to stand out. If you do what all the other Japanese translators are doing on their resume, you're not going to stand out. You're not going to get the job, right? Do you want to follow in their footsteps, or do you want to go unconventional? You want to stand out? Because if you want a job, you need to stand out, okay? So just do it this way. He didn't like the way I formatted the top with the number of years. He said it was really corny and cheesy. The level he said is okay, but like literally spelling out how many years, he said that's too much. It's too unconventional. I said, no, I will not compromise on this, right? But the other thing that really got me, that really like, it just disappoints me, is he said, the second thing is the fact that I wrote 11 years for French, when the fact is like he hasn't been learning it for 11 years straight. He hasn't learned it since 10 years ago, since he started learning. He never picked it back up again. He said, this is so misleading. This is an outright lie. And I said, but your level of French is still intermediate, right? He said, yes. So I said, so where's the lie? Where's the lie? Tell me, where is this lie? And then it even like devolved into like worst case scenarios. So he even said, Annie, I want to be a professor. I want to have an academic career. I'm a scholar. And if an academic employer somehow in the future found out that I was doing translation work and they came across my Japanese translation resume, and then they saw at the top that I put French 11 years intermediate, and they see something like that, they're going to think it's unethical. They're going to think I don't have integrity and that I lie and I do misleading stuff like this on the resume. It's not a fair and accurate representation, and I'm going to get canceled. I'm going to get terminated, fired. It's going to be the talk of the town, and everyone who's in academia is going to find out, and I'm going to be like, a disgrace. I was like, what? Andrio, I cannot believe you believe this, Like, I literally want to cry when he says this. Because, if I were an employer and I was looking to hire somebody for Japanese translation, the last thing I would think about is going into that fine-tooth comb with the magnifying glass. Did you really speak French and learn it for 11 years? Like, that's the last thing that would go through my mind, What would go through my mind when I see the resume even if I were an academic employer, not the translation employer, is wow, look at this guy. He's so gifted, so talented. He speaks not one, he speaks 4 languages, and he's fluent in 3 of them. Like, he's just so amazing. Like, so many people, myself included, I can't really speak Chinese. I can understand it a bit, but I can't speak it, you know? So I would suck. His level of talent for language, the gift of tongue, is just so amazing and superb. When we were in Italy 2 years ago, he learned Italian for a month with Duolingo before we went to Italy. And then in Italy, he was like ordering food and stuff in Italian. And the locals there said to him, "Are you from Sicily? You sound like you're from Sicily." Like, they literally thought he had a Sicilian accent. They didn't think he was a foreigner who just started learning Italian a month ago. He lived in Japan for pretty much all of last year. We were in a long distance marriage, and the locals in Japan think he's Japanese. Like, he doesn't have a foreign accent when he speaks Japanese. His ability to hear something and mimic it and make it sound like the original is crazy. And I just think it's a waste that his focus is on, oh my gosh, what are they gonna think? They're gonna find out and I'm gonna be an imposter, and then they're not gonna want to give me any more work ever again. Wow, this guy is just so talented. My husband is so talented, and it's a real shame that he cannot see that. He cannot see that. I also want to share, so I also thought this would be related. It would be interesting and make him look more well-rounded in his resume, because it is also related to language, his ability to learn and speak language. He can sing in other languages as well. So I thought, okay, it's not exactly translation, but it's interesting. It makes him an interesting person. So at the very bottom of the resume, I put related passions, and then I wrote opera tenor. So he can sing opera. He's a tenor. He can sing in Italian, French, German, and Spanish. He doesn't speak those languages necessarily, but he can sing in those languages. And his ear is just so sensitive that for the first 10 years when he was singing opera, he had no teacher. He taught himself how to sing opera. Literally, he would hear a sound and he would copy it. He can sing opera without a teacher. And people are really shocked to learn he cannot read music. You hand him a sheet of music, say, sing the A note. He doesn't know where the A note is. He cannot identify the note. He cannot read rhythm. Rhythm he cannot read, right? He literally learned opera from listening to other people sing opera and just hearing it over and over again, and then just copying. Like, that is how good his hearing is. And it's a really rare gift, and he can move people to tears with his singing. He has a certain quality that simply cannot be taught. And people walk up to him after he has a live performance and say, "Oh my gosh, I was crying from your performance." And this is like, teachers can teach technique, but he has like sheer raw talent that is something you just have to be born with, and then it has to be honed, right? So, I mean, look at this guy. He's just so amazing, and I just think it's a real shame that he cannot see it. He cannot see it. Instead, he's just so focused on the fact that, oh my gosh, maybe they're gonna find me out. Oh my God. You know, like, the reason I'm just so upset by what he said is that there are so many people who come to me for help to get a job offer in 5 days, and they don't even know what their talents are. Like they don't know what their gifts are. They struggle to even find one of their gifts. They are still in the phase of like discovery of themselves, right? Yet my husband here, academically brilliant. You know, he got a scholarship for his bachelor's degree here in the United States. Full scholarship, didn't pay a dime for tuition. He did have student loan debt, but the student loan debt was not for the tuition. It was for room and board only. So that was for his living expenses for 4 years in California. Then he gets a full scholarship for his master's degree and then a full scholarship for his PhD. Doesn't pay anything for tuition for all of his studies here in the United States, and he's an immigrant. English is not his first language, and somehow he is that gifted to the point that he gets full scholarship all the way. And other people struggle to even do well here in the United States, and they were born here. He's very, very gifted, and he cannot see it. And something that just really irks me and really annoys me is like playing small. I just hate watching him play small. I think he's capable of more, and it's just a matter of applying himself. But the problem is he gets in his own way, like mentally comes up with all sorts of reasons why he will not succeed. And I just want to say that if this is you, if you are just like my husband, you need to step it up. You cannot play small. There are a lot of people in this world, they have no substance behind them. They don't actually know what they're doing, right? They fake it till they make it. And then once they made it, they're just a shell. There's no actual filling inside, right? If you are someone, you're like my husband, you have multiple talents, be proud. I cannot believe he's not proud of himself. He needs to be proud of himself. Literally, the only thing, if you have this many talents like my husband, step it up. Step it up, because the only thing stopping you from having career success is you don't apply. You did not apply to the job. You know why I say this? Because also the next step, he pulled a Peter on me. I was like, so we have the resume, why don't we have interviews lined up? I don't know. I applied to so many jobs, but I don't know why I don't have interviews. So I log into his accounts. I'm like, well, let me see. Let me take a look. What jobs did you actually apply to? How many did you apply to? And when did you apply to them? I went on Indeed, and he applied to like 2. I was like, Andrea, I told you a week ago. I think I told you 10 days ago that you need to apply to literally every single translation job that you see on Indeed. And don't think you're unqualified, just apply. He didn't. He applied to 2. Why does he not get a call back? Because he applied to 2. All right. And then I go on his ZipRecruiter expecting to see maybe he applied to some more. Zero. I was like, I told you to apply for jobs on ZipRecruiter. Why didn't you apply? I literally had to apply for jobs on his behalf. I had to go on his account, and it was like midnight because I'm pissed, right? There's no reason why he should not be getting interviews and should not be getting a job offer in translation, because he is just so gifted. So I clicked the apply button for him. I applied to those jobs on his behalf, okay? I think by the end of the evening, I applied to like 30 jobs for him. He was already getting emails back the very next day. Hey, we would like you to go to round 2, fill out more information. And then he already had like 1 interview lined up for like 2 days later. He didn't get the job for that one. But then he has like 2 interviews lined up for next week. 2 interviews, right? I only applied to 30 jobs. He has 3 interviews. Like, come on, you know? Like, literally the only reason he doesn't get opportunity is because he didn't apply. So if this is you, you just need to show up. You literally just need to show up. Another thing is, I've pushed him so many times because he's just such a talented singer. I push him. I tell him, look, why are you not successful in singing? Why do you not have a successful singing career? The reason? You didn't put yourself out there. How many videos do you have of yourself singing online? Do you have TikTok? Do you have YouTube? Sing. You know, just sing and record yourself, put it online, and share that gift with the world. People want to hear you sing. He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. Another thing is like singing competitions. I told him for years. I told him for at least 4 years. I said, you want to be successful in singing? You need to apply and audition for singing competitions. And even if you don't win, then at the very least, people have heard you sing. People know you. People get exposed to your singing, right? And he always just had resistance, he argued back, I'm too old. I'm too old. I'm over 30. It's too late for me. You never see anyone who has a successful opera career after 30. They either have made it before they're 30 or they're out of the game. They quit, and that's the end of that. And I told him it's not because they lack talent. It's because, you know what happened? It's because they meet a girl, a woman, not a girl. They meet a woman and they want to settle down with this woman. The woman believes in, like, men need to contribute to the marriage, right? Need to earn the money, need to work and have steady paycheck. The woman wants to have a family. They want to settle down, have kids. So all of a sudden, the man cannot continue pursuing his dream, which is a singing career. He quits and he just gets a boring 9-to-5 corporate office job, right? That's what ends up happening. That's why they don't succeed. I told Handrio, this doesn't apply to you. I'm not asking you to get a boring 9-to-5 corporate job. I'm okay even if he works minimum wage, you know? All I want for him is that he pursues his passion. That's my dream for him. All I want for anyone is to pursue their passion. And so finally, last month, he applied to a singing competition. He auditioned. He submitted 3 recordings of himself singing some arias. And the results came back yesterday. He got honorable mention. Got an honorable mention, and he asked the pianist. The pianist is also a professional singer, and she said, in all my years, I have never known anybody who got an honorable mention in a singing competition in their first try. Like, that is how gifted he is. And the only reason he's not successful is because he didn't apply. He didn't throw his hat in the ring. He didn't give it a shot, right? That is the only reason. It doesn't matter his age. I told him he needs to look for competitions that do not have age limit. He needs to look for ones that are open to everybody of all ages, right? I'll look for all of them and then audition for every single one of them. Not one of them. If there's 10, you apply for all 10, okay? That's how talented he is. On his first try, he already gets an honorable mention. He gets to go to, I think, is it Vienna? I think it's in Vienna in October as part of getting the honorable mention to participate, I think, or to listen in the official contest in person. And then he also gets a paid professional photo shoot as part of the prize. Yeah. So, I mean, if this is you and you have multiple talents, I want to tell you, you need to play bigger. Play bigger. Stop playing small. Don't wallow in your room wondering why you're not successful. There are people in this world, they would kill just to know what their talents are. There are so many people who don't even know what their talents are. And if you know what they are, there's no reason for you to not go after the things that you want and to share your talents with the world, because the whole reason why a gift is called gift is because it was meant to be given away. And your gifts are what will make room for you in this world. If you use your gift to help people in this world, I don't care what the gift is, if you use it to help people in this world, you will earn a paycheck. You will earn a living and make money from this gift. People are willing to pay for it, but you have to be willing to show up. And Handrio, he needs to step it up. He needs to be willing to show up as well. But if this is you, you need to do that as well, all right?